Good day, everyone. We are delighted to be a part of this third International Research Conference on Teacher Education and Indigenous People Education, with the theme reinventing the landscape of education in the context of the new normal. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow researchers, to our dear organizers, the title of our study is Exploring the Teaching Learning Challenges Experienced by English Teachers with Students. Considering the notion that English language is considered as the second language of the Philippines, being proficient then in the language is certainly important. In fact, the growing importance of English language is evident in education because it is one of the tools in obtaining academic programs. Since then, it creates various challenges for both teachers and learners. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mr. Moreno B. Malingay Jr., the presenter of this study, together with my co-researchers, Mr. Aster and Buhle, Miss Edelgrace D. Kimayong, and Miss Marites D. Bumida. Before I continue my discussion, let me give you a brief background to where we come from. We come from the northern part of the Philippines, particularly at Ifugao, Cordillera Administrative Region. I'd like also to give a highlight to Ifugao State University, which we consider our second home in the past few years until now. For our research gap, few studies looked into the experience of high school students because most of these studies focus on the following areas: resources and equipment, large class sizes, and time constraint. And majority of these studies are conducted to a foreign country. It specifically answers the three research questions. The first one, what are the challenges experienced by English educators among students? And the second one, what are the factors observed by the teachers that are contributory to these challenges? And third, what are the recommendations to minimize these challenges? Moving on, we have chosen qualitative research as our research design because it is not measurable and quantifiable as according to Cratwell 2009, whereby it does not involve a mathematical model. Collins and Hussey 2003 also suggested that it will provide a complete description and analysis of the data without limiting the scope of the research and the nature of the participants' responses. For the locale and participants, this study was conducted in two private high school and three public high school. And the participants are the English teacher of senior and junior high school students. In choosing the participants, we have used purposive sampling in which the researchers are the one who are going to choose the respondents, I mean participants, based on their ability to provide the necessary data. And in fact, not all teachers are English teachers. In gathering the data, we have chosen one-on-one interview as our way in obtaining the needed information, but first, permission from the authority is needed. That's why we prepared a permission letter that was sent to the principal or school head to seek approval to conduct an interview. It was followed by a consent letter to notify the participant and the scheduling based on the availability of each other before the actual interview. During the actual interview, the researchers prepared an interview guide to ensure that every data is covered. Follow-up questions were also done for clarification and additional information. The participants are free to express their views and experiences, and a natural environment was observed throughout the interview, which allows the researchers to gather a comprehensive data. In the data analysis, we had used thematization because it offers an accessible and theoretically flexible in analyzing a qualitative research as according to Burns and Clark 2006. It also identified themes that will address and interpret the research problem as according to Javadi and Zaria 2016. And based on the gatherings and the analysis, we came up to these four huge identified challenges that are experienced by the English teachers. The first one is the students' passivity towards English. This is manifested by their lack of interest, limited participation, they do not listen and have short span of attention during English classes. This proves the importance of English knowing and understanding their students on a personal basis. And the second identified challenge is the lack of discipline, as also found out by Baker 2011. So the participants have shared that they feel disrespected when students don't show proper behavior that affects the learning process. This challenge identified is actually alarming because previous studies have claimed that disrespectful behavior among students are on the rise on almost all classroom settings. And the third identified challenge is the limited proficiency in English. And same was also found out by Farid et al. 2016. This challenge identified is manifested in the writing and speaking ability using the English language. Besides, their major weakness is content and grammar for both written and oral performance. One participant shared that when she is taking the essay activities of his students, the point or the message was there, but the problem is on the sentence structure and grammar. And the fourth identified challenge is the reading comprehension, and same was also found out by Deliana 2016. The participant claimed that their students are hard up in finding the main idea, important facts, and supporting details of whatever piece of writing. In fact, according to PISA, Program for International Student Assessment that was done in 2018, Philippines scored the lowest in reading comprehension. So what are the factors to those identified challenges? So according to the participants, here are the four factors. Number one, attitude of students. The participants observed that their students are resisting opportunity to learn. Most of them are lazy to pursue their studies and they do not have time management. This shows that motivation is really a vital part in a classroom setting. And the second factor is the distraction of technology. While technology has proven its benefits to education, we cannot deny the fact that it has also negative impact. The participant claimed that instead of the students studying or practice the English language, they spend most of their time playing online games, browsing Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and the like. As a result, this web application become a distraction to the students. And the third factor is the poor classroom management. This happens when the teacher strategy is not effective. This supports the study of Nguyen et al. 2014 stating that limited ability inside the classroom hinder the quality of teaching and learning English. This signifies that poor classroom management can bring chaos inside the classroom, and these issues tend to produce challenges that all teachers must learn to cope with. And the fourth factor is the lack of confidence in the language. The participants claim that this may have something to do with criticism, influence of friends, and their past training. One teacher said they are afraid to commit mistakes. Lin et al. 2011 also explains that students may have the interest but lack confidence. And we have also here the identified recommendations, and that was the third question, research question rather. And the first one is the student self-improvement. So the participant claimed that students must learn to develop reading habits grab learning opportunities, be serious in studying, to manage their time wisely, and practice speaking and writing using the English language. They have to help themselves if they really want to be proficient in the language. And the second recommendation is the teacher strategies. On the part of the teacher, they have to do more. As remarked by one of the participants, they have to exert more effort to be creative, to do self-reflection at the end of the day, and do collaborative learning. And the third is the implementation of programs. Programs are very helpful to minimize the challenges if it is really implemented strictly. Programs that are focused on writing and speaking, for example, as remarked by one participant, because according to previous studies, good programs in teaching English as a second language upgrade the quality of instruction to improve students' learning. And the third recommendation is the purchasing of material. I'm sorry for that. The participant identified various materials that can help them to teach effectively. Some of these are purchasing one projector or LED television per classroom, the installing of a speech laboratory, and upgrading references in the library. Previous research have found out that students show positive attitudes towards learning if equipment like television or any ICT platform is used. So with that being said, we came up to a conclusion. And the first conclusion is that the challenges experienced by English educators is mostly on the attitude and proficiency of the students. And second, the factors that are contributory to these challenges are students' attitude, teacher strategies, and teaching learning resources. And the third, the teacher recommend efforts from the students, varied teaching strategies, and provision of teaching and learning resources. So as you can see, the attitude is both a challenge and a factor. The next one. And we have also the recommendations from the researchers. The first one is for the English teachers to join seminars or trainings on how to deal with 21st century students, and the strategy they are implementing must focus on addressing the challenges in their own classes. And the second is for the high school students. As the center of the education, they have to improve the way they think and to be serious in studying and practice more to improve their proficiency and the language. And the third is for the governments, especially the Deaf Ed Agency, to provide support through the allocation of funds for materials and learning in order to improve learning and teaching process. And lastly is for the future researchers to base their topic on the subthemes that was mentioned in this study as their reference. They can also use our study to base their qualitative study, because our study is a qualitative study. I hope you learned something, and I hope it was clear to everyone. Thank you very, very much, and a sincere thanks for listening.